Time to do a little bit of gardening. We've got these African daisies. These ones have, it's quite late, it's 25 past 8 at night. Being a ginger, I tend to try and stay out of the sunshine. So these African daisies are really, really pretty, but they seem to kind of take over whatever they're growing next to. So just going to do a little bit of garden maintenance. I've also got a bit of grass growing in this section here, so I definitely want to try and get rid of that. And I've got to kind of make my way up the flower bed, cleaning everything up. You can see how it kind of like has shoots, and then it just kind of just grows over everything, really, I think. So you've got to kind of lift it up, and then you can kind of get to the bits that you need to pull out. In my case, lots of grass, there's brambles here, there's all sorts of stuff. Look at that for a nice long piece of grass. The plan is definitely to try and get some nice clear ground around these plants so that everything can grow nice and easily. Get lots of sunshine. Got some bramble here, or some blackberry. Now, I do like blackberries, but they really are very thorny. So I don't think they really have a good place in the flower bed here. I do certainly want to grow some berries, specifically blackberries, raspberries, those two specifically, but certainly in a more controlled manner. Gosh, look at this clump. Got a lot to learn about plants and fruit trees and all sorts of things like that. I was looking up the different plant species that we've got in this flower bed in preparation for this video. I have a real problem with not knowing what's a weed and what's actually a decent plant. And I must admit, if you take a photo and then you go to Google Photos, if you're using Google obviously, they've got a lens feature, Google Lens, and you can ask all sorts of questions and it picks up the different plants based on its flower type or leaf. Really handy actually for a novice like me. Very, very handy. You're never too old to learn something new. And I'd certainly like to have a nice productive garden if possible, and really nice pretty plants. I'll take you guys on a walk along the mountain roads here, and some people in front of their houses have got the most beautiful plants and flowers. I'll see if I can overlay some on the video. Certainly I would like to get some of those if I can. Went to the weekend market today. Today's Sunday. And in fact, what is the date today? 8th of June 2025. Went to the Sunday market in Santa de Serra, and they sell plants there, flowers, plants, fruit trees. And I had a chat with a guy called Philippe, and hopefully he'll be coming on Thursday to come and tell me what grows well for my flower beds. So I'll let you know how that goes. I mean, this is just an ornamental flower bed, but for the front of the house, that looks over the valley that some of you have seen already in other videos. I certainly like to grow some orange trees, lemon trees, tangerines, plums, apple. Because we're at 750 meters of altitude, a lot of that stuff grows pretty easily here, which is quite nice. What I will struggle to grow here in Madeira at this altitude are bananas and I think mangoes. They need seemingly lower altitudes where it's a bit warmer. So although it's unlikely I'll be able to grow those, I'm quite happy with what I am able to grow. Now, years ago, one of the first businesses I ever had in South Africa was a garden service. So this does kind of take me back to those days. When I say a garden service, it was pretty much just cutting the grass and turning over the flower beds. There wasn't any landscaping or anything like that involved. But as part of my new healthy lifestyle, I think being able to get on your hands and knees and be outside, get the heart rate going a bit, I think can only be a good thing. I get why people love gardening, or some people do. I think being able to plant something and watch it grow, especially if it's something really nice that you can eat or something really pretty you can look at, I think that's going to give me a lot of satisfaction, and it's one of the small victories in life. Not done it yet, but that's what I'm hoping for. Right. Got some weird little things. I'm guessing there's some type of seed. I'll hold it up to the camera. I don't know whether you can actually see that or not. Got no idea what these things are. They kind of look like little grubs. They're hard as hell. In fact, here's a bigger one. I've got my phone over here that I can see what the camera's showing to make sure that I am in frame. This stuff's all new to me. Right, we are getting there. This is starting to look a heck of a lot better than what was before. Although I would say my battle with this grass is 50-50 at the moment. If I can just do a little bit every day, then the cumulative effect, everything will get done. Alright, let me grab the camera and I can show you what I've done. There we go. And let's just step away. So there we go. So there's the wall with my little phone. You can see what I can see, and yeah, you can see I've taken that grass out. So hopefully there'll be something nice to plant. And then here, in fact, there's a bit of bramble right there. Little beggar. And something else. This is called, I don't even know what this is called. I looked it up just beforehand and I've forgotten already, but it kind of climbs up things and smothers them. And then I've got my cycad here. Now it's a cycad, not a fern. You can see I've done some of my research, and that's because it's got this thing here called the stromboli, or this cone, which ferns don't have, because apparently ferns, their leaves, they're spiky leaves, and cycads are very similar. In fact, you can see a lot of this kind of this plant. You can see how it kind of like strings along and it just climbs on everything. See that? That's got to come out as well. Right, that's a job for another day. If I go down here, this is a bit that I've sorted out already. Now, fun fact, this is called a mosquito plant, or citronella geranium. You know citronella, the stuff that you burn to keep mosquitoes away? Well, if you rub the leaves on that, or bruise them and you smell them, you can smell the citronella. Quite amazing. And then we had this thing, it was just taking over and killing everything, so I cut that back. I've got to dig that out. This plant over here, I'll show you a picture actually, I'll overlay it, of the trailing African daisy, how it actually just grew right over it and smothered it. And basically looks like it just couldn't get enough sunlight. There was only a little bit poking out the top, but I removed the trailing African daisy. These little guys here, you can see he's tucked up for the night. But yeah, so I had a look. They've got some nice little pretty flowers. In fact, there's a little flower coming through here. Anyway, let me see if I can point to it. There we go. Where my big finger is, right? It's coming out. So I'm looking forward to see what that looks like. There were a couple of little rose bushes, but I got rid of those. I'm not a big fan of roses. And then just looking up, you can see the stuff that I've still got to do. Happy days. Thanks for joining me.